Hello everybody, my name is Isabella and welcome to my channel Between the Pages. As y'all can see, I'm once again wearing my Chronicles of Narnia sweatshirt and drinking coconut Red Bull, which is my favorite Red Bull flavor of all time. So far, although the grapefruit one, I don't know the whole name of it, it's the purple one. That one is a close second, but the coconut one is just amazing. So yeah, this is a review of Prince Caspian by C.S. Lewis. It is the fourth book chronologically in the Chronicles of Narnia. My particular copy is 217 pages and 15 chapters, but like y'all know already, if you've watched my other reviews, my box set, they tried to match the size of the books together, so the font size is very different in every book because they tried to match them together, so it might not be very useful for me to tell y'all the size, but I still do. But I think this one is a little bit shorter than The Horse and His Boy because it does have a slightly bigger font. So yeah. Now, for the summary, Narnia, where animals talk, where trees walk, where a battle is about to begin. A prince denied his rightful throne gathers an army in a desperate attempt to rid his land of a false king. But in the end, it is a battle of honor between two men alone that will decide the fate for an entire world. So good. So prior to rereading this book, I remember it being one of my favorites. I just remember the first three in publication order were my favorite, which would be The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, and The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. So I so loved this book. It was just so good. I didn't remember as much from it as I did in Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, but as I was reading it, a lot of things came back to me. And one of my favorite side characters, which I go into this in the plot summary, showed up in this book, and I forgot he was in this book. I just remembered him being in The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. But anyways, I was very excited about that. So as for between the plot, once again, it has magic. It has talking magical creatures or talking mythical creatures. Um, like in every other book, I go into a lot more detail in The Magician's Nephew, and I think The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. But after that, I don't want to go into it because I don't want to be saying the same thing over and over again in every review. I probably should, but it can get annoying for the people who are watching every single video. Okay, if y'all have read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, or watched my review on it, or watched the plot summary if it's out yet by the time you're watching this video, then y'all know the White Witch had darker magic than Aslan, but she was a bad guy. Now, in this book, the White Witch herself doesn't make an appearance, but some of her followers do, and they do attempt witchcraft or sorcery, but it is quickly shut down. I'm not going to say any more because I don't want to spoil anything, so that is kind of a warning. But once again, they are the bad guys, and so the good magic is as on Aslan's side, and the bad magic is from the bad guys, and it is quickly cut off. So yeah, I forgot to mention this in all the other reviews, but there are battles and there are killings, but it does not go into detail at all. The most it'll say is this person's head was cut off. It does not go into very much detail at all. So yeah, I should have probably mentioned that in every other video or in every other book because I feel like there's been a battle in every other book, but I just never mentioned that. Okay, one last thing. This book does once again have the three-letter A word that means a mule or your bottom. So yeah, at this point, I can't tell the context. I don't know if the curse word was just not seen as a curse word back then, if C.S. Lewis was just fine with using it. I don't know. The context of this one is that somebody is rushing into battle that is not supposed to, and one of the characters, I think maybe Peter, I don't really know, but he's like, come back here, you, that word. So, you know, could be, once again, seen as him being stubborn because his character was being stubborn. He knew he had no business rushing on the front lines, and he did it anyways. Um, so at this point, who knows? But it was only once, as far as I remember. And then drinking alcohol, which if you read any book that is like kind of set like in a fantasy world or like a medieval type deal, like they have wine and rum and like alcohols like that. It seems like they ate it with like it seems like they drank it with like every meal. So that's just something that's gonna be in here, I guess. Um I don't personally have a problem with it. I didn't have a problem with it when I was little. I've never like desired to curse or drink. It didn't bother me. Yeah, this was once again a 5-star read for me. Um like the whole series is for me. It did take me 3 days to read it. That's kind of the norm. All these books have taken me 3 to 4 days to read. However, the one that I'm on right now, it's been rough. But yeah, this book was so much more fast paced. Like I was halfway in the book, like, and it was just telling me like prerequisite stuff to like the actual events, if that makes sense. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. But I don't know. This book, it was so good. I liked it a lot. Still probably one of my favorites out of the whole series. It's between The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and Horse and His Boy. So like right now the ranking would be The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, Horse and His Boy, and then The Magician's Nephew. I don't know, something about I love Prince Caspian, and I love his character, and just with the Pevensies being back in it, I love it, honestly. Very appropriate for children. It's not confusing at all. This is probably one of the easier reads in the series. Out of all of them for young kids, it's really in the area of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Pretty easy for kids to understand if they're reading it or even listening to it by themselves. And also the language and the style was a lot more similar to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Like I mentioned in The Horse and His Boy, it seemed a lot less flowery. Like the language wasn't as like sweet Fantasyland, because it was more focused on plot and dialogue. But this one reminded me a lot more of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and it's probably because it was the one published right after The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Okay, once again, informal because I forgot to record this yesterday while I was recording this review and the last one. But Prince Caspian was such a good book, and once again, the things that really made it good were the things that tied it to the Bible. Um, for this one, I'm sure there was other parts of it that I just missed, but to me, the biggest meaning, that's not the right way to say that, but the biggest thing in this book was that it was a warning to people and countries to not stray too far from God, because some of the characters in this book strayed so far from Aslan that they began to not even believe in him at all, even though they themselves were a testimony that Aslan was real. But if you've read The Magician's Nephew, then you know that some of the people in Aslan are a testimony that Aslan was real. And they themselves have strayed so far from him that they have forgotten that he's even real, and kind of debate on whether he's real or not because they've never seen him and they've never experienced him. Um, and the country of Narnia has strayed from Aslan in this book, so much so that allowing evil to almost take over. And it's a really, in my opinion, a really good warning against straying too far from God, like I've said before. And there's a little bit of a redemption because there is someone who was not alive when Aslan was last in Narnia, was not taught of Aslan by his guardians, was but a believer and a follower of Aslan brought him to Aslan. So I really love that all of these books seem to have a redemption story in them, even if there are other parts of it. But this one was one of my favorites because it was not just a redemption story, it was also a warning to not stray too far from God and what can happen if you do, or if a group of people do, if a country does, all of that. So this one was just really good in that sense. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. One of my favorites at the top of ranking the whole series. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for y'all to read it or listen to it or listen to my plot summary or anything. It was really, really interesting. So yeah, hope y'all enjoyed, and I can't wait to see y'all in the next video. Bye.